Hey church, how you doing? I want to share with you some super encouraging things that I was looking at today from David. This is found in Psalm 56, and it's something that I needed more than I thought I did, and maybe it's going to be a blessing to you too. But listen real carefully to what David says in Psalm 56, verses 3 and 4 is what we're going to look at. He says, "Whenever I'm afraid, I will trust in you, in God. I will praise His word. In God I put my trust. I will not fear." This is a great couple verses just, by themselves. But did you catch the first word in verse 3? It's pretty important, right? It's whenever. Whenever I'm afraid. It's not if I'm afraid or there's potential that I could be afraid. And when that happens, no, it's just reality. It's part of the human condition that we go through seasons or periods or moments of fear and anxiety. Maybe you're in that season right now. Maybe all the stuff that's going on, this is where you find yourself. Maybe not. Maybe you're fine right now. But I promise you, I guarantee, and I think you would say this is true, that there's been times in your past where you've gone through a period of fear and anxiety. And there's going to be opportunities in the future too, right? To be fearful and anxious. But I want to notice too, not just these first words and say, great, David, you identify with me that I have this potential to fear. I want us to remember the very last words that I read here out of verse 4. Do you remember what those were? It was, I will not fear. So do you catch what he's saying? King David here, he recognizes his own potential and have seasons and moments of fear whenever I'm afraid. But then moments later, he says, I will not fear. Well, to me, when I read this, whenever I fear and I will not be afraid right here, I want to know what's in the middle. How do you go from those moments of fear to the fearlessness, David? And so listen real carefully to what he says. And this is such practical stuff, guys. He says, whenever I'm afraid, I will trust in you, in God. I will praise His word. I've put my trust in God. I've put my trust. And the result, he says, then is I will not fear. We all have periods of fear and anxiety. I do, and you do as well. And David says that the way we go from fear to fearlessness is by trusting in God. And as it's the way it's put here in the New King James Version, it's praising His word. Literally, it's like esteeming His word, shining the light in the darkness in His word. And so there's a direct correlation in my life, in your life, between the amount that I fear and the amount I trust God. The more I'm trusting God, the less I fear. The less I'm trusting God, the more I fear. And so David says, when you feel this coming on, you better get to the word. And so this can take place. David says, when I'm afraid, when that's coming, I go back to His word and I get reminded that He is worthy to be trusted. So church, I just wanted to pass on this encouragement to you. You might not be fearful right now, but those moments are coming. Whenever I'm afraid, they're going to happen. And so when you feel fear headed your way, make sure you're headed back here, right? Come back to here. See that He's trustworthy. Just soak in the promises. Thrive in the promises of God. And just cast out that fear when it shows up on your door. Guys, if this insight from David has encouraged you like it encouraged me, pass it along. Share this post. You never know who on your social media feed needs to be reminded of God's promises, needs to be reminded that the way to get the fear down is to trust in what the Lord says through His word. Share this post. Be blessed, guys. And if you need someone to talk to, don't hesitate in reaching out, calling, contacting us through CalvaryEllensburg.com. I love you. Have a great day.